see at the bottom of the screen, Randolph County, Alabama, under a tornado warning, because that tornado is minutes away from moving in. So Wadley about 6 minutes, Waresville in 26. So there's Wadley, Southwest.
Maybe I'll record the outside. Let's see.
Waresville.
Maybe we'll find the kitties. I have, if you see here. Hi, he's ready. Somebody's ready for severe weather. He actually enjoys going in here, which is kind of cute. Hi. Oh, Blaze, that's very scary, isn't it, buddy? Okay, today is Saturday, March 15th, 2025. And of course, today is the big high risk day. And I wanted to film a little bit yesterday in just talking about storm anxiety generally and how I sort of prepare and deal with big events like today. And then last night happened, which last night, March 14th, ended up being quite the nocturnal tornado outbreak, as it seems thus far. And it really feels like that was a forerunner to the big day of today. So I've done all the preparing that I can at this point, and all we can do is wait and be prepared. Yeah. That's all you can do. Hey everybody, today is Friday, March 21st. And I originally wanted to film this video and started to film it on Saturday, March 15th, almost a week ago, during the high risk event in anticipation for it. And I had intended and do still intend for this to be a video on storm anxiety. And after a couple times of trying to film it, and after a really long week at work, the entire week, and just going through the process of having anxiety myself through that event, and then learning of the 40 plus fatalities that have occurred since then, I have to be honest, I've just been really mentally exhausted. I have always had a difficult time wrapping my head around a lot of fatalities when they happen. I have a hard time comprehending 40 plus fatalities from severe weather in 2025. And we don't even know how many people have lost their homes or have had lifelong injuries that they're now having to consider and plan their life around, or having lost their home. We don't even know, and we'll never know, the full repercussions of many of these things. This is one of the parts of the community that we're in. It just never gets any easier. But in light of this past weekend, I did want to have a more candid and unscripted discussion with all of you about the state of the weather community as I personally am experiencing and perceiving it, and sort of my struggle and current perceptions of storm anxiety in this community as well. In the year 2025, we have never had more access to live broadcasts of severe weather. We've never had more information about forecasting details. We've never had more model data and access to shelter information. But also, on top of that, in the year 2025, we've never had so much disinformation out there. We've never had so much hyperbole in weather forecasting, and we've never had so much fear-mongering in weather forecasting. So as someone who personally has struggled with storm anxiety my entire life, I will be the first person to tell you that it is really difficult to be a part of this community on higher end severe weather days, which are every single March and May and April for me. Of course, I'm not downplaying the severity or high ceiling potential that Saturday's event held. It was an upper echelon day and was forecasted to be so, and the messaging from the professionals was consistent with that upper echelon risk. All of which was incredibly informative on a day where someone like myself was very high anxiety. What I will say is that it was incredibly difficult to be a part of this community when there were pictures of death probability graphics going around, posting worst case scenarios as forecasts using hyperbole, and just generally crafting a very anxiety-inducing environment. And that is all for someone who knows meteorology, myself. I understand what a lot of the models are. I understand when to take them with a grain of salt. I understand who to get my forecast information from and what meteorological elements that I should or that I want to pay attention to as they pertain to my risk area. I know the meteorology. Now imagine somebody who doesn't know what the HRRR with the helicity tracks is, seeing that graphic. And imagine how it makes someone feel when they see a death probability graphic who doesn't know the meteorology or that specific model and the incredible amount of nuance that it has. It is frustrating, it's exhausting, and while I understand a lot of people don't participate in those things, it happens frequently. And I understand that's part of being in the space and the community that we're in, but I just want to express my frustration, and for anyone else who feels the same frustration, I hear you and I see you, and it's okay to feel that way. What I find most perplexing about all of this, however, is that next to the abundance of information that's out there, whether it's hypecasting or legitimate SPC forecasts, juxtaposed next to this abundance of information, we have the fact that in 2025 we still have 40 plus fatalities from a severe weather event in a day and age where we have an abundance of information. I talk ad nauseum on my channel and in my personal life and to people that I know and care about and friends with about the different factors that contribute to high amounts of tornado fatalities. They are rooted in socioeconomics, they're rooted in individual perception of risk, they're rooted in people's ability or inability to shelter, whether or not they live in a mobile home, if they have a disability. We could go down the line of reasons why there might be higher tornado fatalities. I totally understand that there's a lot of nuance there, but it doesn't take away my personal frustration that we're still seeing really high numbers when we have so much information out there, especially on a high-risk day. And I'm not speaking to this topic in expectation of receiving some kind of answers. I understand that we're not going to have those answers for a long time until there are some studies and research done. But I am expressing my frustration about the juxtaposition of these topics. I just got through having 2 really in-depth conversations on this channel about residents in the Southeast and the cry wolf effect and how it plays a role or doesn't play a role in tornado warning complacency for people in the Southeast. And I'm just feeling really torn about what is happening that we have so many fatalities. I don't know. And I will just talk myself in circles about it, actually. There's no solution to this right now. I'm just more so expressing frustration, but I guess on the note of storm anxiety, which is what this video was originally intended to be about. I just want to share my personal insight for anyone who may be struggling or who may have struggled this past weekend. We are still going into severe weather season. It is not over. It has just started, frankly. I know after having done this channel for 4 years that hundreds of you at this point have commented or messaged or emailed me about your personal experiences with storm anxiety or PTSD, all of which I hold very near and dear to me. So I know that many of you out there experience the same things as I do, which is why I want to have this conversation. My most important takeaway from not only this weekend, but from every other severe weather event that I've personally been in that has caused me a great deal of anxiety or stress, the most important takeaway that I personally have is knowing when it's time to step away. And by that, I simply mean that oftentimes in this community, being online is the source of the problem. It is the source of anxiety. What I have personally learned, and this might not be applicable to everybody, but it certainly is for myself, be aware, know your forecast, check the SPC in the morning or any relevant updates, know what time the severe weather is going to be happening for you, have your plan in place, have your bag, know that your friends and family are in the same boat as you, they're prepared, and then step away. Step away until it's time to start being alert, because I promise you that ruminating on the issue all day is not helping yourself, and it's not helping anyone around you. Looking at the STP or helicity uptracks or, the 0 to 6, the 0 to 3 kilometer helicity, not helping you. Constantly looking at the HRRR, not helping you. Looking at the graphics of the maxed out tornado parameters, I think I already said that, not helping you. You're not helping yourself or anyone else by worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. And that's something I have to tell myself during these events. So, and now that I've talked about my by far least favorite parts in this community, I would like to shift towards the most positive parts about this community, which is the fact that we care about each other and show up for one another. So, in that vein, I will have some resources, maybe 1 or 2 that are really relevant, something here and or definitely in the description below, a link of some sorts that you can click on storm anxiety or PTSD or some kind of resources. Don't know what they are yet. And most importantly, if you take nothing else from this video, I will also have some links and great resources to donate to the victims of this past weekend's weather events. I'll do a couple different options. So I usually like to start bigger and go down to the more niche ones. For example, I usually start off and give people the Red Cross options. A lot of people don't like donating to the bigger ones, and that's okay. You don't have to. I will also list some medium level, like Team Rubicon is who I typically like to support, veteran owned and operated. They go out there, boots on the ground, help victims of severe weather. And then I go down, maybe to a GoFundMe. So there'll be some resources linked for you. And this video itself will also be a fundraiser. So any proceeds from this video will go to the charity that I have designated. Now, of course, this goes without saying, none of you are obligated to donate. We're in a very difficult time right now. Most people are. And it's not viable for a lot of people to donate. And that is okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is just if you are able and want to give something back. And I think that's all I have for this specifically. I wanted to talk about storm anxiety. Don't know how helpful this was, but just know that you're not the only person that experiences it. I experience it, still do. I just wanted to give us a little outlet to maybe talk about our frustrations from last weekend and a little check-in for you all, something a little more candid on my end. I hope to get this up before the Weather Brains appearance, which is on Monday, March 24th. And of course, I'm going to be highlighting all of the important elements of mental health awareness and different vulnerabilities. And hopefully do them some justice. I'm very nervous about it. I'm making some kind of vlog content discussing it, so you will see that in a couple days as well. I hope you enjoy it, and after this, I'll get back to my normally scheduled documentary videos. So I hope you all are okay with this format just for a little bit and getting to talk to you a little more personally than I normally would. So I think that's it. Just take care of yourselves and be nice to each other, please. I'll see you guys whenever I see you. Be nice to yourselves.